Hello my dear friends, welcome to the LP's e-paper section. My dear friends, this is a weekly e-paper section, and in this week we are going to discuss about drones, unmanned aerial vehicle, abbreviated as UAV. Now my dear friends, you might be familiar with the term drone as a male bee, which is also called as specially a honeybee, that is characteristically stingless, performs no work and produces no honey. Its only function is to mate with the queen bee. Or you might be knowing this term by its meaning as an idle person who lives off others, a loafer, or a person who does tedious or menial work. But what we are going to discuss in today's session is about a pilotless aircraft operated by remote control, called as drones. So let us now study more about drones. So my dear friends, let us first get familiar with this term very deeply. What are drones? Yes, unmanned aerial vehicles, abbreviated as UAVs, also known as drones, are aircraft either controlled by pilots from the ground or increasingly autonomously following a pre-programmed mission. So let us see what it looks like. Yes, my dear friends, this is the structure of a drone. Now, my dear friends, here we can see that on the top of this structure of a drone there is a GPS antenna. GPS, now you might be knowing that it is called as Global Positioning System. My dear friends, it is a space-based satellite navigation system that provides location and time information in all weather anywhere on or near the earth where there is an unobstructed line of sight to 4 or more GPS satellites. So basically it is maintained by the United States government and is freely accessible to anyone with a GPS receiver. You will be very amazed that this GPS program provides critical capabilities to military, civil and commercial users around the world. In addition, we can say that GPS is the backbone for modernizing the global air traffic system. So drone is very helpful in all such things. Besides GPS antenna, there is a video recorder on the top of this structure. Then on the front top side of the structure there is inertial navigation system, or the GPS. Again the same thing. Here we can see a pointed cylindrical structure protruding out from the bottom of the structure of a drone. It is a Hellfire missile. This is a synthetic aperture radar, also abbreviated as SAR, or we can also call it as missile electronics. Now my dear friends, synthetic aperture radar is a form of radar whose defining characteristic is its use of relative motion between an antenna, that is the GPS antenna, and its target region to provide distinctive long-term coherent signal variations that are exploited to obtain finer spatial resolution than is possible with the conventional beam scanning means. So it is originated as an advanced form of side-looking airborne radar, or we can say that is an air radar. So basically this is a radar which provides a side-looking form or the scanning means of looking into the ground, onto the ground or the surface, so that we can come to know about the signal variations. Besides that, here we can see that there is a Rotax 914F engine attached to it. Now this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder horizontally opposed aircraft engine with air-cooled cylinders and water-cooled cylinder heads. Here you can see they are water-cooled cylinder heads. And it commonly powers certified light aircraft or home-built aircraft or autogyros and military UAVs, means unmanned aerial vehicles. So basically this is the structure of a drone. But now we have to see that how does it works. Now before discussing about the working of drones, we should know that drones are divided into some categories. Means they basically fall into two categories. First is those that are used for reconnaissance and surveillance purposes. And secondly, those that are armed with missiles and bombs. Now my dear friends, reconnaissance means it is a mission undertaken to obtain by visual observation or other detection methods information about the activities and resources of an enemy or potential enemy, or it is a mission which is undertaken to obtain to secure data concerning the meteorological or geographic characteristics of a particular area. So this reconnaissance is also called as recon, R-E-C-O-N. So we discussed that drones basically fall into two categories, reconnaissance and surveillance. Now here surveillance means the purposes which include the close observation of a person or a group, especially which is one under suspicion. So drones are used for these purposes, for any missions and also for the close observation, especially one which is under suspicion. And secondly, those that are armed with missiles and bombs. As we saw in the structure of a drone, there was a missile attached to it at the bottom of the structure of a drone. Now this is what we discussed about the categories. Now let us discuss the working of drones. Yes, my dear friends, here you can see number one, that is the first thing which we will discuss about the working of drones is that it is located in the ground control station. As we discussed, as I said before, that it is a pilotless aircraft operated by remote control. So this control is basically located in the ground control station, where the pilot and sensor operator send commands to the unmanned aircraft. Unmanned means the aircraft which has no pilot, which has no men in it. So it is controlled by the pilot which is in the ground control station. From that remote control, the commands are routed to the aircraft via satellite. Now this is the beautiful structure of a satellite. So this shows that the commands are now routed to the aircraft via the satellite. Now here you can see that we have shown some arrows which actually depicts that the waves are moving and they are transferring the signal towards some drone. That is, there are sensors in the aircraft which locates, identifies and destroys the ground targets as per the command of the pilot which is in the ground control station. Right? So this is how it works. And This is the structure of a drone which we already saw. So I've kept this figure over here so that you can understand very clearly. Although drones are unmanned, they are not unpiloted. Means the trained crew is there at the base steer, which crafts and analyzes the images which the cameras send back and act on what they see. Now here the base may be local to the combat zone or thousands of miles away. Like there are many of the drone missions in Afghanistan, and they are controlled from Creech Air Force Base in Nevada, which is in USA. Although takeoff and landing are always handled locally. There is one other MQ-1B Predator, which is actually a type of UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, which was originally designed as an aircraft for intelligence gathering, surveillance purposes, identifying targets, and reconnaissance. However, since 2002, it has been equipped with two Hellfire 2 missiles, meaning it can strike at a range of up to 8 km, approximately 5 miles. By contrast, the newer MQ-9 Reaper, which is also a type of military UAV, was conceived as hunter-killer system. So this is a UAV which can carry 4 Hellfire missiles and laser-guided bombs, and its cruise speed is 370 kilometers per hour. How amazing it is! It is much faster than the 217 kilometers per hour of the Predator, which is more vulnerable to being shot down at lower altitudes, although the drones would usually be flown above the range of most of the weapons which are available to any place. So my dear friends, there is Army which is working on hovering non-lethal drone, also called as bazooka. Let me write it down for you. Bazooka. Now my dear friends, the Defense Department is known for researching some out their ideas, and a bazooka that will fire a patient, intelligent, hovering guard drone. And the drone could be launched from a shoulder-mounted system also. So basically drones are playing a bigger part in warfare these days, but there are few that can be used quickly and effectively in combat. So it would essentially be a hovering drone fired from a bazooka-like device that would hover over its victim until it had a clear spot or a clear shot, and then it will tag the target with one of the several possible non-lethal weapons. So the drone would be accurate from 100 meters, more or less beyond the reach of small arms, and would only weigh a few pounds. Then and then only drones would be very much helpful in the warfare. So this is what we discussed about the working of drones. Now let us move to another section of our e-paper. Yes, this is Let Us Share section. Here we are going to discuss about two very important points. First is the drones are more immoral than any other weapons of war. Means there is a question mark here, that are drones any more immoral than other weapons of war? Well, 3 years ago I came across the victims of a drone, and a journalist, another journalist was also the witness. Now, when that journalist came across the victims of a drone, it struck about an hour after it occurred. It was in Gaza. Although the location for the purposes of this piece does not matter, only the fact of the weapons system matter. The drone had fired a missile at a militant commander. Standing close by at that moment was a group of children waiting for a lift to school, and 3 of them were wounded. All injury and death is horrible that was suffered by innocents. And having seen so much of the human consequences of war, the journalist told that it tend not to distinguish which weapon has been responsible, but try to see that the intents or the intent behind the attack that caused the injury and death. So basically, drones are immoral than any other weapons of war. It destroys the enemy in the warfare. But what about the innocents? So, in conflict within the existing framework of international humanitarian law, whether an attack is justifiable and legal is defined both by the nature of the target and proper consideration of whether there will be civilian casualties and whether they are avoidable. So this is one such point which I wanted to discuss with all of you. The second point I would like to discuss with you is about the Mosquito, Israel's unique micro unmanned aircraft. Now, as mentioned in the Israel national news, an ultralight UAV, the Mosquito, has been developed in conjunction with the Ministry of Defense for use by combat units for field intelligence. Now, the Israel national news mentioned and they revealed, the Israel Aerospace Industries revealed a unique hand-launched unmanned aerial vehicle at an aeronautics conference, and they called this ultra-light UAV as the Mosquito, which was developed with the conjunction with the Ministry of Defense. Now, it is the unmanned aircraft which weighs only 500 grams. The Mosquito is almost half as light as the micro-class UAVs developed thus far. It has a range of 2 kilometers and can run autonomously for 40 minutes at a time, even in the winds of up to 25 knots. Equipped with a miniature camera, the micro UAV can be maneuvered from the launch site by troops monitoring it in flight. So how amazingly it has been made, right? So this was the section of let us share. Now let us move on to the other section. Yes, other section is that about the news update. Now, my dear friends, President Barack Obama, you all must be knowing, the President of United States, Barack Obama has confirmed the US is using unmanned aircraft to target suspected militants in tribal areas of Pakistan. And he defended the drone attacks, saying that they made precision strikes and were kept on a tight leash. On a tight leash means that they have allowed someone very little freedom to do whatever they want. So this is a news update as mentioned in the BBC News. To the military, they are UAVs, however they are more commonly known as drones. So basically, drones are used in situations where manned flight is considered too risky or difficult. They provide troops with a 24-hour eye in the sky and 7 days a week. Each aircraft can stay aloft for up to 17 hours at a time, loitering over an area and sending back real-time imagery of activities on the ground. And those used by the United States Air Force and Royal Air Force range from small intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance craft, and some light enough to be launched by hand, to medium-sized armed drones and large spy planes, all to be used by the United States. So although the US does not routinely speak publicly about operations involving drones, President Obama has confirmed this thing about the unmanned aircraft to target some suspected militants. So basically, I want to tell that an unmanned aerial vehicle is commonly known as drone, which is an aircraft without a human pilot on board. Its flight is either controlled autonomously by computers in the vehicle or under the remote control of a navigator or a pilot on the ground or in another vehicle. So, there are a wide variety of drone shapes, sizes, configurations, and characteristics. The use of such an unmanned aircraft actually began under the President George Bush. And drones are seen by many people in the military as delivering precision strikes without the need for more intrusive military action. However, they are not without controversy. So hundreds of people have been killed by the strikes in Pakistan, civilians as well as the militants, causing outrage. And you will be very surprised to hear this, that one of the deadliest attacks was in March 2011 when 40 people were killed, many believed to be civilians, at the tribal meeting. So this was all about this week's LP's e-paper, all about the drones, an unmanned aerial vehicle abbreviated as UAV. I hope you enjoyed this session of drones. See you in the next week LP's e-paper with a new thing. Bye bye and take care.